those holiday sermons, and it's on a holiday that's on some people's calendar that's on February 12th, called International Darwin. One side declared International Darwin Day is intended to inspire people throughout the globe to reflect and act on the principles of intellectual bravery, perpetual curiosity, scientific thinking, and hunger for truth on evolution have influenced culture for nearly 200 years. Evolutionary scientists are still frustrated by the fact that anywhere between 40 to 60% of Americans, depending on which statistics you look at, but 40 to 60% of Americans accept Darwin's theory of the evolution of species. That's the name of his book. Actually, the full name of Darwin's book was The Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection, or the Preservation of Favored Races in the Struggle of Life. We're going to come back to that name later. Charles Darwin was the father of what we call Darwinism. And it is an alternate and unbiblical way of looking at how we as life and the world and the universe came to exist. Darwinism is the foundation of the science that we call evolution. Whereas the Bible tells us in Exodus 20, verse 11, that in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth and the sea and all that is in them, Darwinism maintains that it is nature and not God, and took millions of years to evolve life from a primordial soup of minerals and rocks and waters, and that primordial soup set and stewed together until it created a simple molecule, and that simple molecule bound together with other simple molecules until it formed a very simple life, and over time that simple life form became more and more complicated until it became a more complex organism, and it transformed over millions of years until it became a dinosaur of some sort, and a fish, and dogs and cats, and life as we know it. That is a very basic description. They try to trace man's existence all the way back to this primordial soup. And as someone once put it, Darwinism is the theory of goo to you by way of the zoo. There's a multitude of scientists who embrace this view of life's origins. Evolution is now, I would say, probably the main theory for life, for the creation of life, or the existence of life, I should say, taught in school from elementary to college. We have to ask why. Well, there's a lot of reasons. I can't go over all of them. I probably wouldn't do it right if I tried. I'm going to give you three why I think people accept it. One is that when you look at species, there's a lot of variety. When you look at dogs, there's not just one kind of dog. There's not just one kind of horse. There's not just one kind of cow. There's not just one kind of monkey. There's a lot of variety. Matter of fact, there are cows and horses and donkeys and monkeys and so forth. So where did they all come from? And my understanding is that old Charles Darwin went to the Galapagos Islands, where no one had been, and noticed that there's a lot of variation within the species. Like, there's not just one kind of bird. There's not just one kind of finch. There's a wide variety of finches. And we can say that there's not just one type of dog or one type of horse. There's a wide variety of sizes and shapes and colors. So his thought was, since there's so many different shapes and sizes, it must be proof that life is ever evolving. I'll give you an example. My brother has two dogs. These two dogs have both been bred to have very specific characteristics. He has a teacup poodle, little bitty tiny dog, and he has a Great Dane. Now, both of those dogs were very expensive for him to buy. And the reason they're very expensive is because it has taken years to breed out certain qualities, certain sizes that the owners didn't want. And you might say that is a very basic example of how this works. If you have enough interbreeding in a species of an animal, you could create a new animal. But there's problems with this. For example, the dogs that are bred to have certain characteristics often come with a price. One of my favorite breeds of a dog is a Boston Terrier. I used to have a Boston Terrier, and when Christy lets me, I'll have another one. Boston Terrier is basically a truly American mutt of a dog. If you really look into what comes into creating this breed of a dog. So, in creating this, what would be an idealistic breed, actually, it bred in a lot of problems. They have a lot of problems with their noses. That they have like pugs, little tiny noses. Well, that creates problems.